of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
Tavares, little floater out to left, and that drops in for a hit. Brzezinski on his way to third, and he's in there safely. Ball gets away. Brzezinski will score. Tavares on his way to third base. No one's there. Cardinals have the lead 3-2. Showing bunt. It's a beauty. Tavares trying to score. He will. And that ball gets away. Miller on his way to second. Jay, no hesitation. He'll try to score. He's safe. And the defense unraveling for the Phillies.
Guys were being aggressive on the bases, which caused pressure on the defense. And when you put pressure on the defense, things start to happen. And today it turned into some runs.
Cardinals take the lead thanks to Carpenter. St. Louis leads it 6-5 here in the 12th. Popped up left side. This could do it. Carpenter is there as the clock strikes midnight. The Cardinals win it. A final in 12, 6-5.
The good thing about the way this is playing out is, if we get to the postseason like we all expect to, we're going to be battle tested. We fought through it all season. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to keep going, and hopefully we can keep this little roll we're on, rolling.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. This afternoon from Philadelphia and Citizens Bank Park, a weekend series comes to a close. It's the Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, it was just over 13 hours ago we were here for Game 2, and wrapping that up, a huge win for St. Louis. That's Al Rabowski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. The Cardinals win today. Couple that potentially with the Milwaukee loss, they would be in first place heading into Pittsburgh tomorrow. So today, a very, very big game.
I really think it is. You have to have a little momentum going into Pittsburgh because they're playing good baseball once again. And it's all about starting pitching, and Masterson will be on the mound today.
We're going to take a look at some of the highlights here from Justin Masterson in his start against Miami. And Al, arguably, that's been his best start as a Cardinal so far.
Yeah, it was real important. He didn't walk anybody. He goes deep into that ball game with 7 shutout innings and really just very little offense for the Marlins. They only had 3 hits off him.
Jerome Williams, yes, Jerome Williams, that guy. He's been around forever. He'll get the start today for the Fightin' Phils. It's Justin Masterson for St. Louis. We have baseball on Fox Sports Midwest, and they just finished filming Rocky number 29.5.
Go, Adrian.
Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Look at Fairmount Park in Philadelphia, where it's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Nice crowd on hand. The rubber game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Cardinals begin play today, as we mentioned in the open. They are just a half game back of Milwaukee. Milwaukee will hook up with Pittsburgh. And in that game, it'll be Vance Worley going for the Pirates and Mike Fiers. And that's a look at today's schedule. Now today's standings. Brought to you by DirecTV. Milwaukee at 71 and 58. The Cardinals a half game back. Pittsburgh just 4 out of the Central Division and chasing both Milwaukee and St. Louis. Then Cincinnati 9.5 games back, and Chicago at 57 and 72. There's a look at Mike Matheny and his club. A huge win in game number 128 of the season last night.
Well, you feel like you have to win games like that. They probably should have won it in regulation, but the bottom line is it was a good team-building effort. You know, everybody contributed in that ball game. And I think it sets them up for winning this one and the series.
A look at the lineup. Quick turnaround for many of these players that were in the starting lineup last night. We'll highlight Oscar Taveras. Last 4 games, .429 average. Matt Carpenter had the game-winning RBI in the 12th inning of that 6-5 victory of Game 2. Then it's Colton Wong, Matt Holliday, Matt Adams, Johnny Peralta, John Jay, the aforementioned Taveras, Tony Cruz, and Justin Masterson. Picked up from Texas, he has been a part of 3 different teams alone this year and a ton of teams in his career. That's Jerome Williams. He's been with Houston, Texas, and now the Philadelphia Phillies.
Made 2 starts for them, and they really like what they've seen. He's 1-0. He's got a 2.19 ERA. He threw 7 innings, allowing just 1 earned run on 3 hits, walking 3 and striking out 4 his last time out. In St. Louis, he is 3-2 with an ERA just at 3.
Former first-round pick Jerome Williams was out of the majors for better parts of 2 seasons. Made it back with the Angels in 2011. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Claimed off of waivers from Texas back on the 10th of August. And so far 1-0 with the Phils. Overall, a 9-year Major League career. Record of 45 and 52. 2 balls and 1 strike on Carpenter. Riding a 7-game hitting streak. And for Matt Carpenter, that's the longest active streak right now in the major leagues. 3-1.
Kind of say they feel like Jerome has rediscovered his sinker.
And a leadoff walk, and that's how we start the game. Cardinals last night received 9 walks and a hit batter. They were 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position. They stranded 15 on the night, but found a way to win. And here is Colton Wong. 4 hits in this series, including a key double last night. And it was a crazy play that we later have found out. The ruling on the plate, if you missed it, Ben Revere kicked it over the wall, and it was unintentional. But when he did that, it turns into a ground rule double. Not where the player is at, and Wong at that point in time was at first base. The rule very unclear as to whether or not you get 2 bases from where you're at or from home plate, and it's from home plate, so a ground rule double. Here's the play from last night, late last night, off of Jonathan Papelbon.
Yeah, really smoked this ball, and it gets right over the shoulder and glove, and hard to tell from there, but watch his foot. Ball will go off the glove, off the side, and kicks it inadvertently over the fence.
1-2 the count. Will Nieves is behind the plate. Carlos Ruiz is on the bench. So different battery for today as Wong pops it up. Nieves gives it a look, and that'll find the seats, the second row, and bounce back.
Ruiz last night, caught all the game, and they credit a lot of Williams' turnaround to communicating and working with Ruiz. And I think something could be said a little bit from Mike Matheny in his decision to spell A.J. Perninsky, and has Tony Cruz back there today.
Popped up again. Phillies and Ryan Sandberg, they were out of position players by the end of the game last night. Cardinals were in better position, bench and in bullpen. Also out of relievers. Off the glove of Williams to Rollins, steps on the bag and safe at first. Cardinals had started the runners, so Rollins was headed towards the bag anyway. Dominic Brown is in left field. Ben Revere in center. Grady Sizemore, he finished up the game and left last night. He'll start in right field. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. Cody Ashe, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard along the infield. Will Nieves is behind the plate. Sore knee and all, late night and all. You still can pencil in Matt Holliday day in and day out.
That's a very good point. Very durable. Takes good care of himself and is ready to play on a daily basis.
And the first pitch is taken for a strike. Holliday is hitting .262, 12 home runs, and he's driven in 65, number 65 last night. One ball and one strike.
Both these managers are really asking their starters to go deep into this game. They had the extra inning game last night, but a lot of the relievers have been used in the first two games of this series.
Jerome Williams was saying before the game, 2011 was a key year for him. All over the place, independent baseball, 2 stints. He's pitched in Taiwan, then came to AAA. He said he figured some things out that season. Did well at AAA as they check on the runner Wong. Called up to the Angels, pitched well. Then he went to Venezuela. But he said that was the year that he felt he could still pitch in the big leagues. Give him credit, here he is.
He's pitched for 7 different major league clubs. And as you said, he spent time in Taiwan, Puerto Rico, the Winter League there, Independence Leagues 2 times, 2008 and 2011. And really, originally was a #1 draft pick of the Giants back in 1999.
Holliday waves at it and strikes out. First strikeout for Williams.
You got to avoid doing this. Breaking ball never really was a strike and breaks down and away completely out of the strike zone.
Concern for the Cardinals, the final inning of last night was on a comebacker to Trevor Rosenthal. He barehanded it and threw wide to Matt Adams. Adams had to stretch, made a great play to save the ball from going awry, and then we saw him holding his side. We thought at that point in time he may be injured. Well, he's back in there for game 3.
Talked to him before the game and compliment him on that outstanding play. And the last thing you expected was that poor throw, and made a great effort to kind of stretch his body out, but he said he was fine.
Cardinals had 2 key plays defensively in that final inning. Adams and then the catch by Holliday, which really gets overlooked. Holliday with a running catch on the track in left center. Matt at 308, top 3 in the batting race, and it's getting closer and closer as we edge closer to the end of the season. You have 2 of the top hitters average-wise in the National League in Matt Adams and Ben Revere.
Of course, it's going to be fun to see next weekend who the call-ups are. We talked in terms of calling up more people than normal.
Runner goes. Slowly hit to the left side. Charged. And Ashe, with the shift on for Adams, makes the play, the third baseman. Citizens Bank Park in Philly. There's no score. Look at the lineup. Ben Revere, since the All-Star break, one of the hottest hitters in the game. What's interesting is that he has no walks in that time period. Jimmy Rollins, then Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Grady Sizemore, Dominic Brown, Will Nieves, Cody Ashe, and Jerome Williams batting 9th. That 9 will face our Kia starter this afternoon, Justin Masterson of the St. Louis Cardinals.
23rd start overall. His 5th start for the Cardinals, and the one we want him to concentrate on was the game he pitched against Miami. Did a great job in that game. Only 3 hits allowed, 7 shutout innings, and a real key was no walks. He's tied for 3rd in the major leagues, inducing 21 double plays this year, and since 2012, 64 double plays. That's 4th best among all major league pitchers. And we saw a new sinker broke out by Shelby Miller, and apparently Masterson was very helpful in showing him his, showing Shelby his sinker ball grip.
Jim will have more on that coming up. Here's Ben Revere, 2nd in the National League in hitting at .312. Morneau at .314, and then Matt Adams. It's all about command and throwing strikes for Justin Masterson. Great movement, but can he locate? Can he pitch to contact? Can he throw strikes? Nowhere close early on.
I saw the very first one had great movement down. These last 2, his arms dragging, not catching up to it.
3-1. And the last thing you want to do is walk Ben Revere, who has 37 stolen bases, 3rd best in the National League. That's what he's just done. We just mentioned he doesn't walk, and Masterson a leadoff walk.
We also talk about this ballpark where the ball really flies. You don't want to put extra men on base because you can just anybody stand in the batter's box is the threat to hit one out.
Jimmy Rollins, the switch hitter. 240 from this side of the plate, 233 from the right side. Carpenter is in on the grass as Adams holds it first. Lost in the game last night, the work of the bullpen of the Cardinals. After Randy Choate, 4 pitchers, 4 scoreless innings, and just 2 hits. Seth Maness picked up the win. He's now 5-2. That ball gets by Tony Cruz and to the backstop. Rosenthal picked up the save. That was number 38. That's tied for the National League lead with K-Rod of Milwaukee and Craig Kimbrell of Atlanta. This is not the start that Masterson was looking for here in the first.
Not at all. There's that last one. Wild pitch. Tony Cruz tried to pick it. Goes over his glove and shoulder.
Two strikes on Rollins.
Tried to drag bunt there. Try to kind of catch that as you're running. May have helped out Masterson.
Stays 1-2. Last night was win number 70 for Mike Matheny's club and our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, continued the streak of scoring 4 runs or more. They've done that the last 10 games, and they've won 8 of those 10. And get early runs. When the Cardinals score first, they're 56-20. One of the things I like to do is you want them to score often.
Took some off it, and Rollins cannot advance the runner. Strikeout for Masterson, his first. Matt Holliday in left field. John Jay in center. Oscar Taveras is in right. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. Carpenter, Peralta, Long, and Adams along the infield. Tony Cruz is behind the plate. Chase Utley is hitting .280. 11 home runs. He's driven in 68. Good speed. Revere at second base.
Article in the Philadelphia paper today talking about the pace of play. The Phillies now are averaging 3 hours and 11 minutes per game. And they're just talking about how you can cut off 57 minutes if you enforce a rule. The rule is throw pitches, within 12 seconds. Cut off 57 minutes.
It's a point of emphasis with the owners. Rob Manfred, the new commissioner, has talked about trying to change the pace of the game.
And there's some thought of putting the clock on so the umpires could see when 12 seconds are. And I know Bob McClure, the pitching coach, felt like that was too much of a gimmick. What his suggestion was call the strike zone the way it's dictated in the rule book.
They've said that in the past, and then it goes back to what we see now. So I'm not sure that works. 2 balls and 1 strike. A concern for baseball is that the younger fans are being brought into other games that the speed of play is up and down, whether it be hockey or basketball. And football, it does have a lot of stoppages. However, you don't hear a lot of complaints about that. But baseball, when games are played at a clip of 215 to 230 on average, they'd like to see it back down to that 240, 245 range. And if you're wondering if TV is the factor as to why games are longer, you can't blame it on commercial breaks. That hasn't changed in 15 years, the length of those breaks. A strike on Utley. So it's not only the clock on the pitcher, but also talking about a hitter staying in the batter's box.
That's the big thing. Used to be a rule, once you reached the batter's box, you had to stay in that batter's box or ask permission from the umpire to leave.
Here's a 3-2. And a base hit into right center field. 1-0 Phillies. Masterson hung that pitch. And Utley drives in his 69th.
Rollins, Utley, and Howard. Three big guys, been around a long time. This is their 901st game being in the same lineup for the Phillies. All-time record. And there's the, like you say, an off-speed pitch, just sat there and spin. And no doubt they have a 1-0 lead.
Ryan Howard with a home run last night, his first against a right-handed pitcher since June. Last night against Shelby Miller. That previous home run against Shelby Miller. He's up to 19. Fourth in RBIs with 80. Giancarlo Stanton of Miami leads the National League with 93.
The damage he's done against the Cardinals, his hometown team.
Said his favorite players, he told me growing up, were Ozzie Smith and Willie McGee. Used to head to Busch Stadium too quite often with his twin brother and his family. Played at Lafayette High School. Then it was off to Missouri State. 5th round pick by the Phillies.
He's at 368, 19 home runs, and 60 RBIs.
Here's the 0-2 and a ground ball that's pulled foul.
All against St. Louis.
The shift is on here for Howard. Outfield is straight away and deep. Late call and a strikeout of Howard. Similar pitch to Utley that was called a strike. This one may have been a little bit better. A little lower, but still catching the outside corner. Second strikeout for Masterson, and it brings in Grady Sizemore.
The best thing we could say is it could have gone either way. It didn't have to be a strike. But that late call by DJ Rayburn will get you in a little bit of trouble with the players.
DJ has been in the minor leagues since 2000 and then promoted as a full-time umpire this season.
Quite a few really new umpires, as they had to add a couple new teams, umpiring squads, because of the replays challenges in New York.
The short lead at first. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs and a runner at first. Phillies lead 1-0 on the RBI by Utley. We'll be in Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Good matchup. John Lackey and Francisco Liriano. All 3 games of that upcoming series will be seen on Fox Sports Midwest.
I believe when we go to Pittsburgh, doesn't Milwaukee and Cincinnati, do they play, or not sure about that either?
And that's a foul ball. Milwaukee will be at San Diego tomorrow night.
Kyle Loesch expected to return to the rotation for Milwaukee. Eric Stoltz will get that start for the Padres.
We saw the Padres put a little fight in there.
Here's a 1-2. Pitch that was up. A fly ball to left. Holiday is there. Phillies strand a runner. The walk to Revere. He comes around to score. 1-0 after 1. As we move to the top of the second, Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. That's where we find Jim Hayes as well. Jim, you had a visit with Shelby Miller on the pregame show, and we noticed it last night, some really good sinking action on his pitches. What's going on there?
Well, he's throwing the sinker. He told me he had that in his repertoire, but didn't really have a lot of confidence with it. And so when the catcher would call for it, he'd shake it off because he didn't want to throw it. But he said between starts he was talking to the other guys in the starting rotation, and they were saying what a valuable pitch that could be for him because he's got that rising fastball. So he started trying different grips. He tried Justin Masterson's grip and felt comfortable with it. So last night he broke out the sinker. A.J. Pierzynski told me he had no idea that Shelby planned to throw the sinker until they were walking in from the bullpen. But A.J. said they were some of his best pitches, and he called the sinker a lot, Dan.
And it also seemed to be a situation, Jim, that he had very good velocity even as his pitch count was approaching triple digits.
Well, he says that he feels strong and healthy, and I don't know if it's the fact that he was taken out of the rotation for a time, but he says health-wise he feels as good right now as he has in a long time, and last night was a really good start.
Booted by Ashe. And that's error number 14 on the St. Louis kid, Cody Ashe. Brings in John Jay. How about Justin Masterson and some of the things that he's been working on coming into this start?
Well, you guys were talking about that great start he had against Miami, which at the time was feasting on Cardinals pitching. He threw 7 scoreless. Right before that, they toyed with his delivery, and they felt like they had found something with his stride. His last start wasn't as good, and Justin told me at this point, Mike Matheny also said the same thing. It's really not about his mechanics, it's about the feel. And he says when he's facing a team he doesn't know much about, like the Phillies, he hasn't seen them since 2009, he doesn't even know how he's going to attack them until he gets out on the mound because he doesn't know how that sinker is going to feel. So it's sort of an adjustment on the fly for Justin.
All right, Jim, thanks. Here is John Jay, who does not qualify for the batting championship just yet. If you do the numbers, he would have to just about play every day. 3.1 plate appearances per game is what you need. Justin Morneau is at 314, as we talked about earlier. And Jay singles up the middle. He's now hit safely in 14 of his last 15 games, and his average is up to 310. Went and looked up what the highest batting average was in this range. Tony Gwynn, back in 1988, won the batting championship with an average of 313. That's as low as it's been in nearly 20 years. And now it's Oscar Taveras, the heir, a single, and Taveras is 10 for his last 27. Only has struck out 4 times in that stretch.
Just tell Oscar's getting more and more confidence.
Big gap in right center. Fastball and a strike.
Gonna watch here, Dan, see he takes the fastball there, see if he's kind of waiting for an off-speed pitch.
Taveras with a high fly ball out to center. Peralta will stay put at second base. One out, and it brings in Tony Cruz. Phillies lead 1-0 on an RBI by Chase Utley. And here's a look at Tony Cruz, who's hitting .205 this series. The Cardinals 3 for 23 with runners in scoring position. Again, just 2 for 18 last night. They'd love to change it.
Tony batting .242 on the road with 11 of his 12 RBIs. .218 in his 30 starts prior to today.
Runners at first and second. First pitch to him. And a strike at the knees. Jerome Williams trying to make a case for the Phillies rotation next year. Cliff Lee is expected to be healthy, but he suffered a elbow strain back on the 31st of July. Slow chopper towards third. Ashy gloves and makes the play. You know, you think about it, that could be a run for the Cardinals. Johnny Peralta did not tag up from second to third. Ben Revere was not even going to throw to third. You know, this team is very station to station when it comes to base running.
Absolutely, and then the abundance of their hits or singles. But you're right. You figured that Peralta, when that ball was that deep, Mike Matheny's preaching be aggressive on the base paths, so do it. Go.
Masterson is 2 for 6 with an RBI. Runners at second and third. So they're hoping to get a healthy Cliff Lee. Fingers crossed for the Phils next year. A.J. Burnett has an option on his contract. He said earlier this week he'll probably retire, but we've heard that before. Kyle Kendrick, who started on Friday, is a free agent to be. So it could be David Buchanan and Jerome Williams in the rotation next year. There's strike 2.
I mentioned Masterson has helped his cause swinging the bat.
And he strikes out. Cardinals strand 2. They've stranded 3 in the first 2 innings. Phillies on top 1-0. Saturday. Seats still available. Cubs and Cardinals. Beginning Friday night. Off day on Thursday.
Day-night doubleheader on Saturday.
Franchise history between these two teams, rich in history. The Phillies were the first to get to 10,000 losses. Cardinals, the extensive postseason history. Most world championships behind the Yankees. Some great players on both sides over the years.
There have been, and then my era, the 70s, when you talked about the Phillies and Cardinals being in the same division, the East Division. A lot of good battles.
Bottom of the second, and Dominic Brown will lead it off, followed by Will Nieves and Cody Ashe. Not to be confused with Kobayashi. And a strike at the knees. Dominic Brown let a ball drop in left field that probably should have been caught. And he's been hearing it from the boos. And the crowd, the boos raining down on him.
Probably also a little bit, too, that highly touted prospect came up here and really did not do a lot. You know, the extra pressure when you're come through the system as one of the top guys. And a lot of times don't have the patience to let you continue to develop.
Great promise, though, a year ago. He was an all-star. Close to 30 home runs. And this year just was 7. Will Nieves is hitting .289 with 1 home run. He's driven in 5. That sinker, you think ground ball. You're also thinking double play.
As I mentioned, that's part of Masterson's game plan. Tied for 3rd in the major leagues with 21 induced double plays this season.
One ball and 1 strike. The Cardinals eventually hoping to get back and see the return of Michael Walker to the rotation. Yadier Molina, Jason Mott. By the way, Molina and Mott played for the Peoria Chiefs, and that's the Class A affiliate of the club. They just announced an extension through 2020 with the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's good to hear, because you know that Peoria ball club has kind of been back and forth. Cubs, Cardinals, Cubs, Cardinals.
Right field. Taveras makes the catch. Throws a strike back into Adams, and Brown is back safely.
Seems like this game is having a dragging effect of maybe last night. Fans aren't real lively, and games played at a slow pace.
Here's Ashe, and he takes a ball low. They had seasons in which every game was sold out at this ballpark, and the great run that they had. 1.5 straight National League East titles. Also appeared in a couple of World Series. They won in 2008. That was over Tampa Bay. They lost to the Yankees following season. The 1-0. Ripped into right. Taveras cuts it off. And Brown on his way to 3rd. So base hit for Cody Ashe. And runners at the corners for the Phils.
That's Ashe's first hit of the series. He'd been 0 for 9. Taveras cut that ball off, got it back in, and the double play is in order. Went down, got that. Here, Todd Barty cuts it off. Gets it back into second. Keep ashing to a single, and now you're just one pitch, a ground ball double play from getting out of this inning.
Pitcher spot here, so the corners are playing in. Adams holding. That's over at first. Carpenter in on the grass at third. Outfield is shallow. Jerome Williams 0 for 3 so far this year. Showing bunt. Takes a pitch high. This is not necessarily to score the runner, but to advance the runner from first.
That makes a lot of sense when you have, for the Cardinals to do it with the pitchers, with a good RBI man at the leadoff spot like Carpenter. Rivera's more of a table setter than driving in runners.
This time, though, he pushes it to the right side, and the only play is to tag out Williams by Adams. 2-0 Phillies. Runner from third. Brown was off with the pitch. He did not see that in the first pitch of the at-bat, and with it, an RBI and a 2-run lead.
Cincinnati's coming down the line, and then it's a safety squeeze. Sees the ball down and pushed to the right side, so he comes on home. Did get the second man in scoring position, but he did one better driving in. Dominic Brown, the lead runner.
Ben Revere walked and scored in the first inning. Ashe, the runner at second base. There's a good breaking ball that drops in for a strike at 78 miles an hour. Revere came in with 145 hits, 5th most in the National League. League leader Daniel Murphy, the second baseman of the Mets, has an outside chance at 200 hits. Remember, Carpenter was stuck at 199 a year ago.
Surprise you, Murphy doing so well? More of an offensive player than defense, but
what surprises me is that he's doing against other teams outside of St. Louis. He kills the Cardinals. Yeah. You know, Daniel Murphy has had unbelievable numbers against St. Louis. Foul ball. Tweet your photo using the hashtag STLFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. He's also a man without a position.
Right.
Tim Tuffle is trying to teach him the art of second base. Remember, he tore up his knee on a double play. 1-2 the count. Little flare out to shallow left. Holiday can't make the play. It drops in for a hit. 3-0 Phillies. It's starting to get the feeling of just one of those days.
Yeah, just kind of a jam shot here. Just pops it over the infield. Holiday does a good job to keep in front of him. Wasn't going to be able to throw him out even if he would have caught that ball.
Rollins struck out his first time up in a 3-run lead here in the second. Runner goes, that's Revere, and that's into center field. One of those days. Stolen base number 38.
And E2, that's Tony Cruz, the first error on Tony Cruz this year. receive the ball and try to throw in one motion. Just never was in position to throw it a strike to second base.
One ball and one strike. The game that we saw against Miami, the pace was quick for Masterson. He was pumping in strikes. He had great movement. And today I should say, really fighting to find the strike zone. There, that pitch is up. The previous pitch was down.
We always talk when you have a sinker ball in there, the hitters want to get the pitch up. And you can kind of see when the pitch starts down, they lay off it because it'll be a ball. And if it's up, they'll go to swinging at it because it flattens out.
Taken there by Adams. Flip to Masterson. Phillies pick up 2. We head to the third. 3-0 Philadelphia. Is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. It's a look at the Ben Franklin Bridge, Delaware River, beautiful city of Philadelphia. So much history in this town. And right now the Phils lead it by 3 runs over St. Louis in the top of the third. And the first pitch is taken for a strike.
Just peck away. Got plenty of time to come from behind.
I mean, Al, I see it's one of those days and a little sloppy here early on. But this is Jerome Williams.
Very good point.
This is Jerome Williams. There's a reason why he's been over to Taiwan and pitched in Venezuela and out of the game and independent ball. In the air, out to left. Dominic Brown under it. 1 away. The well-traveled former first-round pick Jerome Williams began with San Francisco. He's been with the Cubs, Washington, Minnesota, the Dodgers, Oakland, out of baseball. He's been everywhere. 3 teams already this season.
Throwing strikes, though. Just enough to keep off the timing. I'd like to think the second time through the orders they'll have a little better at bats.
Chase Utley off the bat of Colton Wong puts it away. Five in a row set down since the base hit by John Jay. Here's Holiday. Struck out swinging back in the first. And a ground ball that's slowly hit to Cody Ashe. Cardinals go 1-2-3 and quietly in the top of the third. Well, tomorrow it'll be the 25th anniversary of the banishment of the all-time hit leader in baseball in Pete Rose. Mike Schmidt is at the ballpark today, and it just makes you wonder what the Hall of Famers think about Rose being out. Should he be included? Has he served a long enough punishment, or should it be a lifetime ban, which is stated right now?
Well, if he's ever reinstated and it goes up to the ballot, the writers will vote him in. And it's interesting that a lot of his Philly teammates have been vocal where they'd like him to be in the Hall of Fame, but then some of his Cincinnati Reds teammates don't want him in. Predominantly it's the older guys that don't want him in.
Well, he's 73 now. So,
older guys.
I mean, you know, if you're going to make that decision to put him in, it's kind of like the Ron Santo situation. You wish he would have been alive to take in the Hall of Fame, and unfortunately he had passed away. Now, I'm not equating Pete Rose to Ron Santo. I'm just talking about having someone that is alive and has a chance to go in. And, you know, there seems to be a groundswell of support that people say, look, 25 years, it's enough. He represents what was good in the game when he played, clearly not when he was a manager or after, with the betting and the gambling and his admission to that. But should he be in?
Well, I think that Bud Selig will not put him in. I'm kind of hopeful that he will give the new commissioner the blessing that, okay, it has been enough. And I can be true to my word. I kept him out, but, let him back in. Right? Help heal any little wounds that are still maybe out there. Some people say that, why, okay, we all know he bet on baseball, but he only bet on his team to win. Well, that could be even worse because, one, if he doesn't bet on it, he thinks his team's going to lose. But two, if you bet on the team to win, you may make pitching decisions that destroy your bullpen for the next 3 or 4 days in an all-out effort to win that one game. Personally, doesn't matter to me.
Nowhere close on these pitches with Howard, and it's 3-1. Rob Manfred has been very close to Bud Selig over the years, so you wonder what kind of factor that would play into the decision. And he walked him.
But who knows? He might say, okay, I'm true to my own beliefs and I'm going to keep him out, but I give you the blessing to, if you want to exonerate him, give him a pardon, so to speak, if you can do so.
I mean, it is the ultimate sin in the game.
The only rule that is really posted in every clubhouse, and after my time, they started bringing in FBI agents to read the rule and explain, people on the fringes that may be asking you questions that could be used in betting.
A check swing and a strike on Sizemore.
I brought the article, and I'm going to read it on the plane today, but there's an SI article on Jeff Locke, the lefty for Pittsburgh, who was found to be, innocent, but a bookie, kind of speak, that knew him at some point, like in high school, because once he got to the big leagues, he had shunned this guy, fringe character, and so he went out and started a story that Jeff Locke's going to throw the games. Now, they did an investigation, and Jeff Locke is innocent, but there you go. You get into a situation, people start accusing you.
I'm torn on Pete Rose. I am.
I'll help you out. For what he did on the field as a player, he definitely should be there. But, like you said, he committed the ultimate sin.
I'm the ultimate on-the-fence guy about this. And it shifts every minute. I see both sides to it. And maybe there's some type of designation in the Hall of Fame to make sure that those that go to the Hall of Fame 100 years from now, 200 years from now, know who he was and understand his importance in the game as a player.
You could have the all-time hit leader, the all-time home run leader, and strikeout leader.
That's in the gap in right center field. Howard not running well on his way to third. Man, it's painful to watch him run.
Yeah, all three of those champions could be outlawed from the Hall of Fame.
The torn Achilles against the Cardinals in Game 5 of the Division Series in 2011. Missed a season.
See, the body wants to go, but it just doesn't go.
Infield is drawn in for Dominic Brown. And the bottom line right now, Justin Masterson is not getting the job done.
And Nick Greenwood is starting to heat up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, he's not throwing strikes. He's not, at times, even around the strike zone. And the Cardinals are seeing the same thing that we are. It's one thing with Justin Masterson in April and May and say, wait, you know, we can try to work through this. We can try to get you right. But when you're in a pennant race, it's a totally different story.
Sense of urgency.
A check swing did not go.
Justin Masterson first came to the ball club, you know, he was kind of collapsing on his back leg, not utilizing his advantage of his height to throw down on the ball.
And again, another pitch that's up. That's what we've noticed too. A lot of pitches up.
And that's totally against what he should be trying to do as a sinker ball pitcher. You want to get out in front, stay on top of the ball, release that ball, and let the movement. There are times too when his ball does have such movement, it's hard to control it.
The 2-2, and he got him. One thing I have noticed, though, is that his breaking ball has been sharp today at times. It's been better than the sinker.
Yeah, it's times where that thing can be very wicked. And, you know, the same thing, you have terrific movement. I'm trying to think what game it was. Maybe it was the Baltimore game. It was the Baltimore game where, you know, he struck out the side. He had the slider was very wicked in the first inning. But after that, they saw that it was always a ball, and they laid off it, and then they were sitting on the sinkers and teed off on it.
Will Nieves. And through all of it, Masterson is 1 out away from pitching out of this jam and still only being down by 3 after 3.
Cardinals with only 1 hit through the first 3 innings, but you're absolutely right. Easily come back in this ballpark.
To the backstop and a wild pitch. 4-0.
See just how far he throws it off the mark.
The 2-0. And that ball is fair. Base hit for Nieves. If you're Mike Matheny, you saw last night 12 innings. And I'm sure the last thing that he wants to do is pull his pitcher. And he's talking about it right now with Derek Lilliquist.
The last thing you want to do too is
have your bullpen exposed going into a series and not rested for Pittsburgh.
Well, and also you got Greenwood up. You don't want to just keep on burning him too.
A 5-0 Phillies lead. It's amazing how a pitcher can look one night in Miami and then what we're seeing here today. Polar opposites. That's strike 2.
Mentioned the game in Miami, how he's working at such a quick pace. And his infielders all loved him in that game because he kept them on their toes. And here they're standing around flat-footed.
Playable, plenty of room, and Carpenter is there. 5-0 as we head to the 4th.
Kirk in, and he scores! Unbelievable!
Monday at 6, head to Ballpark Village, and it's all about the Blues. Matt Adams will dig in and lead things off for the Cardinals in the top of the 4th, followed by Johnny Peralta and John Jay. Adams grounded out to third, his first time up, a 5-0 lead for Philadelphia. They've been out hit, the Cardinals have, 6-1 in this game. Only base hit was John Jay to center. That floats in there for strike one.
Cards with just one hit. They've got to pick up the pace.
That pitch was up, hit into right, and out of play in the seats. 1-2 the count on Matt Adams.
We've seen Jerome Williams one time. Got a little better idea now what's going on, what he's trying to do to you.
With 2 strikes, the shift on for Adams. They don't need it. A strikeout. 4th of the afternoon. RBI Baseball is back with all 30 Major League Baseball teams and 2014 players. Find out more. Download it today. RBIBaseball.com. And the first pitch is taken low. Peralta out to left center, and it sinks and drops in. He'll take second base. A sinking liner and a double given to Peralta.
Johnny will take that. Looked like just a routine fly ball, but the wind blowing towards left field really cut it down and knocked it down. And he's trying to make the shoestring catch. When he hits the ground, the ball rolls out. Maybe that's our start here with one out.
Jay with a single to center field back in the second inning. Johnny Peralta with a home run last night. Now 19. He's among the league leaders in doubles. From 2011 to 2013, the Cardinals hit a total of 21 home runs from their shortstops. Fraccal, Descalso, Ryan Terrio, Tyler Green, Pete Kozma, Nick Punto, some starts at short. A 3-year period of 21 home runs, and now Peralta has given the Cardinals 19 this year. A 2-1 pitch to John Jay. Here it comes. You can get this game tight. You wonder about the back end of the Phillies pen. Would Giles even be available? And that same question could be asked about Papelbon. Both have pitched in games 1 and 2.
Diekman also possibly.
And a walk. Second walk issued by Jerome Williams. And with 1 out and 2 on, it brings in Oscar Taveras.
Key at bat right here.
Sure is.
Oscar can do something nice right here. Just keep the thing rolling, but We are down to 7, 8, and 9, and Tony Cruz is struggling right now. Pitcher spot.
Well, you're Mike Matheny. You think ahead a step or two. You try to. If that pitcher spot does come up, certainly have to be thinking about pinch hitting.
Yeah, you have to, but like you say, in the back of his mind, he's going, I don't want to run through my bullpen this soon.
And a ground ball that's hit to first.
You know, if you knew that Greenwood, and he's been a nice little find, could give you 3 or 4 innings. You know, and if you get back in the ball game, yeah. And remember, Greenwood did not pitch last night. He got up several times.
We're in the top of the 4th. 5-0 Phillies. 2 on, 1 ball, 1 strike. Taveras, base hit into right. Peralta being waved in. And scores. John Jay at second base. And again, another look at the Cardinals being station to station that we've talked about. That's an instance where it looked like Jay easily could have been at third.
Well, absolutely. You know, Peralta goes from second to home. John Jay should be able to go from first to third.
And even watching Sizemore when he got to the ball, took a glance up and seemed to be a bit surprised that John Jay was still at second base.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no excuse for that. Didn't see him trip or anything like that. But
and that pitch is popped up. Shading from the sun, Howard. It'll be Utley who makes the catch. 2 outs. And the Cardinals will pinch hit for Justin Masterson here. Greg Garcia. So Masterson giving the Cardinals 3 innings today. A 5-1 Phillies lead.
Independent race. Check your ego at the door. It's all about team. Greenwood, he'd been up earlier, so he even here with 2 outs. They'll get a little more of a tune-up, be ready to pitch. Oscar come through when we said it was a key at bat. Boy, would this be big for Garcia.
And that's ball 1. Carpenter on deck. One ball and 1 strike with 2 outs and 2 on.
Garcia appeared in 7 games earlier this year, was 2 for 10. Hit 273 at Memphis this year.
And he strikes out. Free McD app to get your promo code for $8 tickets to select Cardinal games. And the offer includes tickets to see great Central Division rivals coming up. That'll be the Pirates as well as the Brewers. Download the McD app today. 1951, wouldn't this be fun? I'm sure every manager would love this. St. Louis Browns, this date in history. Bill Veeck hands out placards to 1,115 fans, allowing them to vote yes or no on game strategy. Browns beat the Phillies. That was the Philadelphia A's 5-3. He had some ideas, didn't he?
Oh, he did.
The great promotion man in the game of baseball, Bill Veeck. Philadelphia A's. As you get a look at the numbers on Nick Greenwood, they played here until 1954. Then moved to Kansas City. We talked about this a little bit last night, but they really were the town's team, not the Phillies, but the A's. They had 3 World Series titles. Cardinals need some innings from Nick Greenwood. Justin Masterson has been lifted. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jerome Williams.
And you brought up a good point. Masterson today was his 5th game. 5th start for the Cardinals, and really has only 1 good start to show for it. Greenwood, we showed his numbers.
Bounce to the right side, backhanded by Adams, flips to Greenwood for the out. Nick at times has done a very good job for the Cardinals.
That was what I was going to say, that his numbers don't reflect the important job he's done. And games like this really kind of get it deep into the second part of the game and spare the bullpen. Has had a team high 4 scoreless innings. That was on June 28th. Remember, in his major league debut on June 16th, he went 3 1/3 innings. 7 of his 13 appearances have been 2 innings or more.
Ben Revere is on base twice with a walk, a run scored, and an RBI single to shallow left. 2 balls and no strikes. Masterson was coming off an all-star campaign a year ago and was looking for big money from Cleveland. They did not agree upon a contract. Obviously, the Cardinals picked him up. Then that time dealing with a bad knee off the disabled list. And Greenwood has gotten the first 2.
I think the Cardinals see a project of Masterson. And usually you don't think about that with somebody that's 29 years of age. Had the success he's had, but they can refine his mechanics, get it to where he can have a repeatable delivery and stay on top of that. You know, someone can be helpful. But right now you can't just, afford to do that. If you're going to try and win, be in a pennant race and pitching every 5 days, he's got to be more consistent right away.
Here's the 0-1. Good off-speed pitch at 81 miles an hour.
Greenwood's not going to light up the radar screen or anything, but he will go out there and just works fast, quick, and throws strikes.
Phillies shortstop is struck out swinging, also grounded out. Greenwood drops down and misses low and away, 1-2. Outfield is straight away. On the inside corner. Good start for Nick Greenwood. First strikeout of the afternoon. Catches Rollins looking. We head to the 5th. Here's Matt Carpenter. Thanks, guys. Once again, congratulations to Jim Edmonds. First time he's been on the air with us since inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Carpenter is walked and flied out to left in a breaking ball taken low. We're in the fifth. 5-1 Phillies. On the inside corner and a strikeout. 5 today for Jerome Williams.
Carpenter's got that great batting eye. He thinks it's the ball, but you can see it is a strike. Pitcher's pitch right on the black. Pitch they give up on the inside part of the plate, and it just moves right to the corner.
Colton Wong is 0 for 2. You may remember the Cardinals, prior to the hiring of Mike Matheny, they talked to Chris Maloney, Jose Oquendo, got permission from the Phillies to talk to Ryne Sandberg. Terry Francona mentioned as well, and job goes to Mike. And on the other side, Ryne Sandberg really paid his dues. Obviously, great player, all-star multiple times, 10 as a matter of fact, and was managing in the minor leagues. One of the great second basemen ever played the game. When he retired, he had the most home runs ever by a second baseman. Jeff Kent later shattered that mark. The single season mark held by Rogers Hornsby back in 1922. He had 42 home runs in a single season. It's also a year that he hit above 400. Curveball on a hop to Utley.
Rhino, when he started managing, I think started at Peoria, if not mistaken. It was back in the days when Peoria was in the Cubs organization, and then it went to AAA, went to Iowa, and he was there. But when he didn't get the job, got passed over. Was that Quade that took over at that time?
Mike Quade, yeah.
Quade, and remember he was the interim manager, and they responded to him late in that season, and so they gave the job to him. And I think Rhino said, "Okay, if I don't get the job now, I'll go back to Philadelphia." And he was waiting patiently, with Charlie Manuel was at the helm here.
Sandberg had that famous game against the Cardinals and Bruce Sutter. Game of the week. Not many games on television. Cubs would win it 12-11. 11 innings. He went 5 for 6 with 7 RBIs. Bruce Sutter, the closer, went 3 1/3. 3 1/3 for your closer. This day and age, unheard of.
I went 6 1/3 one night.
Sutter worked more than an inning in 188 of his 300 saves. Jimmy Rollins there. A couple of hard hit balls, but nothing to show for it for St. Louis. Midway through 5, the Phillies on top. Fanatic having a little fun with Jim Hayes in our pregame show. Second inning of work for Nick Greenwood in relief of Justin Masterson. 5-1 Phillies. The bottom of the fifth as Utley looks at strike one. We'll see if Greenwood will drop down. It's just about sidearm. He'll do that against the lefties. Show a different look. Good pitch. Tied him up. Strike two. Utley has singled to right center. Drove in Ben Revere for the first run of the game and also grounded out to second.
Greenwood hides the ball well. So a little deceptive. Be sneaky fast.
This is the type of pitch that he would do that with. There it is. It's almost as if he steps towards a left-handed hitter. Ball coming behind him. He'll sink it, cut it. Back to Greenwood. 4 up and 4 down. Reminder that September 12th, you can honor the troops like the pros. 25,000 fans. Ages 16 and older receive a digital desert camouflage Cardinals cap similar to the one worn by the Cardinals on Memorial Day. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Ryan Howard has been called out on strikes, walked, and then scored on a wild pitch back in the third. Phillies scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and lead at 5-1. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Phillies can do with this roster. The money that's owed to some of these aging stars. How creative Ruben Amaro can be in terms of changing the complexion of this roster, trying to get younger, but also rebuilding on the fly.
Howard has 2 more years at $25 million per year.
Ruben Amaro there enjoying some ice cream, it looks like, with the hat on. Got to get your scoops. Hits into the shift as Colton Wong was there for out number 2. After the game today, we head to Pittsburgh. And Lackey and Liriano tomorrow. Come your way, 5:30 St. Louis time, and it's our Budweiser What's on Tap. McCutchen homered last night. El Toro went deep twice. It's been a different season compared to the one a year ago for the lefty Liriano.
Yes, it has. Boy, he just threw his glove out there, and he had the Cardinals number a year ago.
Here's Grady Sizemore, who has flied to left and also doubled and scored. That was in the third. The outfield is straight away. Another chopper that's pulled foul past Juan Samuel. Name that I'm sure our Cardinal fans remember. All the matchups with the Phillies. These two teams played in the same division. Juan Samuel and Lenny Dykstra. Dalton. Greenwood spins, throws, 6 up and 6 down. Nice work by the lefty so far. We're through 5, and the Cardinals trail 5-1. The city of brotherly love, Citizens Bank Park. Trip down memory lane, some of the names and photos of the great players that have played here, both with the A's and the Phillies. It's Ashburn Alley, located just beyond the center field wall, named after the Hall of Fame center fielder. He played with the Phillies in the late 40s. Then was a broadcaster for 4 decades. They have Bull's Barbecue here, named after Greg Luzinski. Always found it interesting, even though Luzinski, known for his power and all the strikeouts, he did hit above 300 3 different times. You've got Harry the K's Bar and Grill, and there's a look at the statue after the famous broadcaster and the longtime voice of NFL films, late Harry Callis. Tenth year of this ballpark.
Dan, I used to, the old ballpark, a bet. You'd see Luzinski patrolling left field there. And what he would do was basically he would be straightaway left field, and he would sort of face the left field foul line and look in to home plate. And he had everything in front of him.
Rolling foul. All the spin on that ball almost came back fair.
That looks a little better. I'm sure that's Bull's Barbecue. Luzinski was known as the Bull. That's appropriate. But Luzinski he patrolled just the left field line. Maddox had everything to his back and on over to right center.
He hit some mammoth shots at the old vet. And he's in their Hall of Fame here with the Phillies. 2-2. Outside. We're in the 6th, and it's 5-1. Last year, the Phillies experienced their first losing season since 2002. This is popped up, and with the shift on, long way to go for Ashe, but that's out of play. They're on the verge of finishing. The Phillies are in last place, which would be the first time since 2000. Braves had a stranglehold on the division with that incredible run for so long. And the Phillies were able to get Lee and Hamels, Halladay, Oswalt for a time, and defined by great pitching. 3-2. Brad Lidge at the back end of games. And then the trio that you spoke of a number of times this weekend, Rollins, Utley, and Howard in the middle of their lineup. At the time, I thought it was crazy, the signing that Washington and the money that they gave Jason Worth. But that's proven to be a very good signing.
Yes, it has. And good at bat there by Matt Adams. Third walk allowed by Williams.
You mentioned that Dominic Brown was, thought of as a big prospect. They thought he would develop, take that spot of Jason Worth, and it hasn't quite worked out.
Well, I think that very first year, I don't know if it was spring training or very early in the season, he broke his wrist, and I think that's really set him back.
Runner at first, nobody out. Here's Peralta, and Johnny pulls it foul. He has scored the only run today. BJC Healthcare difference maker in the second half, hitting close to 300 for Johnny Peralta. Good on base percentage of .366.
Getting a lot more multi-hit games too in the second half.
Peralta got a piece of it, so nothing into the count. Our vantage point at the ballpark, you can see the skyline of downtown Philly. Originally thought that they would build a stadium in downtown, but they became a part of the South Philly Sports Complex. It's our vantage point. A camera right here in the broadcast booth. Across the street, you have what was the old Spectrum, and that's now home to the Flyers and also home to the Sixers. The base hit out to left. Wells Fargo Center. They've got Lincoln Financial Field. You have Xfinity Live and any of the concerts that happen over there. So all that happens in this portion of the city. The Cardinals have something going here. 2 men have reached, nobody out in the top of the 6th. 5-1 Phillies. This game is long from over.
No doubt. And right now, I'm sure the Philly fans are getting a little restless. 1-for-1, John Jay. Base hit and a walk.
Williams is due up 4th because of the long game last night. We've talked about how both teams could be searching for innings in spots by relievers that they normally don't come into. This is pitch number 86. And Jay hits it out of play.
John Jay is 2 for 3 and a home run against Jerome Williams. Keep on pecking away, get a chance to.
A little bit more patient in these at bats. Going deeper into counts against Williams. The 1-1 tied him up.
And have made some good pitches in on these left-handed batters. The real key: can you pitch to your glove side and come all the way across? There with left-hand batters, that means can you pitch effectively in, and he's done so.
1-2 the count. Last 9 games, St. Louis tied for first in runs. They've scored 53. That's first in the National League. The average, 291. And Jay hits it in the air out to left. Dominic Brown comes in a few steps to make the play. Two on, one out for Oscar Taveras. August 29th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a Cardinals beverage tumbler. That's courtesy of the Shane Company. Cardinals.com/promotions.
Last time up, it was going to be a key at bat for Oscar Taveras. He got a base hit. Even more important at bat right here with 2 men on. Oscar's got a 7-game hitting streak now.
And he looks at a ball down and in.
8 for his last 20. Four for 9 on the road trip.
1-0 is hit sharply to second, and the Cardinals hit into a double play. Some tough luck off the bat of Oscar Taveras. 1. Bottom of the 6th. Third inning of work for Nick Greenwood. It's been perfect so far. 6 up and 6 down. The AT&T fan photo of the game. We have seen Nick Greenwood give the Cardinals 4 innings. That was against the Dodgers in a 9-1 loss. Also 3 innings. The 12-2 loss to Baltimore. And pitching in his 3rd inning here today. That'll help. 1 pitch, 1 away. Put away by Carpenter off the bat of Dominic Brown. How about Nick? 7 up and 7 down.
That's it. 7 up, 7 downs. Going out there and doing it pretty efficiently. 25 pitches thrown for those 7 outs. Boy, that was a killer line drive double play. I mean, ball like that just stung right off the shoe tops. Adams, the runner second, has no chance to get back.
Masterson's next start would be next weekend against Chicago. Cardinals do have an off day Thursday, but it's coupled with the doubleheader on Saturday.
Bring up a pitcher, go to a 26 man when you have a doubleheader like this, and so usually somebody would come up in the minor leagues and make a start and then be optioned back down.
Rosters expand on Sunday after the game.
What's the latest on our Memphis team?
Playing well.
Projected to be in the playoffs, but apparently it's not going to be a case where the club would
disrupt that run
or hold players down. I think Mike Matheny's time the priority is here.
Popped up on a 3-1 pitch. Tony Cruz, 2 down. Brings in Cody Ashe. Celebrating the 50th year of the anniversary of the Cardinals championship team, and you think about that 64 collapse by the Phillies. 12 games remaining, 6.5 game lead on Cincinnati. They had a 10-game losing streak, with the first 7 of those 10 being played at home. And the crucial series, that final week, they played in St. Louis, swept by the Cardinals in 3 games, and the Phillies still, even after all that, had a chance to force a 3-way tie and couldn't do it. The famous season of 1964, and the Cardinals were world champions. Ashe grounds out, 9 up, 9 down. Fox Sports 1. The Twins head to Kansas City to battle the Royals. They're looking to continue their strong push for the playoffs. Coverage begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Kansas City Royals, what a story they have become. 3-game lead in the AL Central. The Cardinals half game out in the NL Central. The only division that really looks to be potentially, and I say potentially because we were just talking about the 64 collapse. We all remember 2011, but the Eastern divisions, the American League East, Baltimore a 7-game lead over New York, and Washington a 7-game lead over Atlanta. Everything else very, very tight.
Yeah, particularly in the American League West, National League Central. Very interesting. As you see Greenwood right there at the on-deck circle, scheduled to be a second hitter. No one warming up, so Mike Matheny is going to go with his hot hand.
9 up and 9 down as Tony Cruz on the first pitch. It's a fly ball into right center. Revere makes the catch. That's how we start play at the top of the 7th. The Cardinals trailing 5-1. A look at the afternoon for Nick Greenwood in relief of Justin Masterson.
Just firing strikes. He's doing his job. He's 9 up, 9 down. One strikeout in there, but why don't you get a base hit now too?
Nothing in 2. From Williams at 95 pitches. He is due up first in the bottom of the 7th. Revere again.
Sandberg let Williams go beyond in this game.
The way things are going with the bullpens, the way they were used in games 1 and 2, makes you think that he would. Retired the first man on 1 pitch. He gets Nick Greenwood. And Carpenter skies one into deep right center field, but Revere with room. Time to stretch on this Sunday afternoon.
seats at the game, head to StubHub, where you can earn 2% back of fan rewards on every purchase, including Cardinal tickets. Plus, with all pricing, there are no surprise fees at checkout. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more. Nick Greenwood will go back to the mound. He's retired 9 in a row. So he's doing his part, trying to hold down the Phillies. They scored all 5 runs against Justin Masterson in just 3 innings. And Greenwood's come in and just said 9 up, 9 down. He'll face the pitcher spot. And it looks like they will pinch hit. No, it's not. It's Williams will stay in this ball game, and then he's got the top of the order. And we need to get some offense going, but Greenwood's going to have to throw another 0 up there for him before we can get back on track. Cardinals look awfully flat in this game.
Mazda game summary: 5-1 in favor of the Phils. Masterson lasted all of 3 innings. Peralta 2 for 3 with a run scored. Jerome Williams 7 innings, and Ben Revere 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. 5-1 in favor of the Phils, and that's a look at your Mazda game summary. Phillies team that has a chance to win back-to-back series, and a team that at home is only 29-38. So Greenwood will get Jerome Williams and then the top of the lineup. And with the bottom of the 7th being fairly easy for Williams, the decision much easier for Ryan Sandberg.
Well, the Cardinals did their part to help out Williams because there was quick outs there. Through just a handful of pitches.
Here's the 0-1. Williams, the first man that Greenwood saw back in the 4th. 0-2 the count. Nick has kept the Cardinals in this game and given them a chance to come back. And he picks up his 2nd strikeout. That's 10 in a row.
Throwing strikes, using off-speed pitches, throwing fastballs, but changing the eye level up and down, in and out.
Ben Revere busy. Top half of this inning with 3 fly ball outs his direction in right center field. Walked and scored in the 1st. A base hit to shallow left and grounded out to 2nd. First pitch taken for a strike. Well, that's it. He's pumping strikes right now.
Yeah, making it look easy. This is more indicative of how he has pitched at this level too.
Slapped the other way. String of 10 in a row snapped by Ben Revere.
2nd hit of the game. Been on base 3 times.
Here's Jimmy Rollins. Tough afternoon for Jimmy. Pair of strikeouts and a groundout. Pittsburgh in the 5th. They trail Milwaukee 4-2. Only 2 of his 15 home runs have been hit from this side of the plate. And he takes strike 1.
Remember the long home run he hit off of Steve Klein at the Bet. Steve thought he was showing him up. He went to the upper deck there, and it wasn't the case. But what a home run that was.
Klein walked around the mound as Jimmy Rollins was circling the bases, just staring him down. That's a while ago.
Yeah. Kleiner, I assume he's still a pitching coach in the Giant system.
He's just missed on back-to-back pitches. 2 balls and 1 strike. .42 pitches for Nick Greenwood. Randy Choate getting loose in the pen.
Bear has 1 steal today. That was 38th on the season for him.
Out to deep left. Holiday is back. He'll look up and it's gone. 2-run homer, Jimmy Rollins.
th home run for Jimmy. RBI is 51 and 52. Makes it a 7-1 game. All-time franchise leader in hits for the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins strikes again. And Mike Matheny may check to see if Greenwood's just run out of gas. Greenwood coming out of this game, and he pitched so effective that line gets spoiled a little bit with those last 2 batters.
Roughed up in the second, allowed the tying runs to come in and score. And he'll be our Chevy called to the pen. It's Chase Utley. Digs in with 1 out, nobody on, and a 7-1 Phillies lead.
These are 7 for 61 off of Randy Choate. Then he tried to push Greenwood a couple extra outs and did a tremendous job 4, 5, and 6, 9 up, 9 down. Did retire 10 in a row before the base hit and 2-run home run.
Two balls and no strikes on Utley. For the St. Louis sports fan, the hits keep on coming. Report that Sam Bradford is going to miss the entire season.
Wow.
Utley with a fly ball lifted to left, and Taveras, or rather right, Taveras is there and makes the catch.
Can't catch a break, can he?
I'm despondent right now.
Yeah.
Report is a torn ACL.
And that's the same
Yeah.
injury to the same knee that he had last year.
You are correct. Ryan Howard has been caught looking, walked and scored, and grounded out to second. Hey, but we've got the Blues at Ballpark Village on Monday night. That pitch is taken for a ball outside.
We have to generate some excitement, and then they'll have a chance to cheer on the Cardinals. Showdown between the Cardinals and the Pirates starting tomorrow night.
Paul Stastny returning to St. Louis. Hits into the shift. And Colton Wong makes the play. It's the second time that Howard has done that. Welcome back to Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bommarito Sports Update. Well, Jerome Williams, we didn't know what we would expect here today. And here we are, Jerome pitching into the 8th. 7-1. Here's Colton Wong. Jerome using a glove from my daughter's collection. And that's okay, Al. She's a good player.
She's okay?
Yeah.
She's all right with it, huh? Not a little big for her?
A little big, but it's okay. Howard stabs at it. A race to the bag, and Williams is there.
Two Hawaiians there. Colton and Jerome Williams.
And on a serious note, I wanted to draw attention to the color of his glove because it's something very important. It's for cancer awareness. You will see some of the players' wristbands at times, the color of that glove. I don't know if you've ever had the chance to visit with Jerome Williams, but really a neat guy. You start talking to him and all his travels and where he's been, how he's gotten here. I was talking to him earlier, and very personable. Always has been that way, even when he's been down on his luck, so to speak, concerning his success in the big leagues.
I know he's not a quitter.
That's ripped into center field. Revere won't get there. And a base hit.
Just the 5th Cardinal hit. First for Holiday today.
Here is Adams, who has walked, struck out looking, and also grounded out to third. In the air, out to deep right center. With room, Revere makes the catch. Holiday tagging up from first to second.
Nice going, Matt. Go out there and test him. Just to get yourself in scoring position. It's ballpark. You would think normally with a ball like that would be out. So he sees it's going to be caught. So gets back, tags up, and advances. Gets himself out in scoring position. Throw was offline.
Descalso will be the pinch hitter for St. Louis.
Daniel's done a very good job of late in that department.
Last 4 pinch hitting opportunities. He's 2 for 3. A couple of doubles. Pair of RBIs and a walk. Last night, that walk resulting in the game's winning run.
Team high 8 pinch hits, and 5 of those 8 have been doubles. Last 14 games, he's 8 for 17.
Here's a 1-0 pitch with 2 outs and a runner at second. Out of play. Williams had 107 pitches, and one of the 4 lefties is throwing in the pen for the Phillies. Right-hander is throwing for St. Louis.
Carlos Martinez for the Cardinals. Daniel can't trade places with Holiday.
3-1. Williams may be on fumes right now.
In that 7th inning, just 5 pitches.
If you're the Phillies, why not give Jerome Williams an extended look here for the remainder of the season?
They have nothing to lose.
Fly ball, center field. Jerome Williams, 8 innings. We'll remind you that baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Live, the perfect beer for whatever happens, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. So much history in this great town. Lone visit to Philly this year. Carlos Martinez will take over for St. Louis. Relief of Randy Choate. Third reliever used by the Cardinals. Our Chevy called to the pen. And his 42nd appearance. Rotation and bullpen for Carlos this year. You wonder about with the doubleheader coming up. The Cardinals entertaining the idea of Martinez potentially getting a start in that series against the Cubs.
Mike was asked that, I believe it was yesterday, and he kind of felt like that was not going to happen.
One pitch, one out. Brady Sizemore retired.
Not to say he won't be a candidate for next season, be in that rotation, but I think right now likes to have the availability of having him available on a more frequent basis and use him in relief.
Now we put tickets on sale for an evening with Tony La Russa, which is an off day for the club. That's Monday, September 15th at Busch Stadium. Very similar to what we did with 2 nights with Bob Gibson, and nearly sold half the tickets in a 24-hour period. And that's coming up Monday, September 15th at Busch Stadium. Really a unique event. There's a ground ball that's hit to the right side. Adams will flip to Martinez. And what fans get is a 90-minute Q&A. I'll conduct that with Tony. Dinner, upscale dinner put on by the special events department. Down on the field before the game or before the event, with cocktails down there on the track and also in the dugout. Get your picture taken with the 2011 World Series, and everybody in attendance walks away with a Tony La Russa signed baseball. That's Monday, September 15th. If you want to be a part of it, it's Cardinals.com/La Russa. And this is the second in our Speaker Series events. September 15th, Cardinals.com/La Russa. Be nice to have Tony back in town. Should be a neat event. If anybody has ever heard Tony speak private setting, he's as good as it gets.
And be very candid. Just storytelling, doing different things, but get his thoughts.
All-time winningest manager in Cardinals history.
And the Gibson one was great success, and so this one will be too.
Both those nights sold out. We had just unbelievable feedback from those that were in attendance. They had never heard Bob Gibson as open, as candid as he was that night, and such a true gentleman, and so much fun to be a part of. And I'm sure the Russa event will be the same. Good slider and a strikeout for Martinez. He makes quick work of the Phils in the bottom of the 8th. Again, that's Cardinals.com/La Russa. 7-1 in favor of the Phils. Our Nissan drive of the game off of Nick Greenwood. Really his only mistake. A 2-run homer. That made it 7-1. That's the Nissan drive of the game. Jimmy Rollins with the home run. And his 16th of the year. RBIs 51 and 52. And now we'll tell you about our Chevy call to the pen.
Fradius comes in here. We saw him in this series. He's retired 17 consecutive batters earlier this year. He's faced the Cardinals now a total twice this year, 5 times in his career, and they've never done any damage against him. Left-handed batters are batting 167 against him over his last 71 appearances going back to last year.
And the first pitch taken for a ball by John Jay. So the Cardinals on the verge of dropping 2 of 3 here in Philly. And then it's an all-important series with the Pirates beginning tomorrow. One away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Fanatic having a little fun, and the Phillies having a little fun at the expense of the Cardinals.
Phillies are trying to win back-to-back series for the first time since late April.
One-0 is popped up and foul. John Lackey going tomorrow. We will rally around John Lackey and play good. Wait a minute, that's the wrong guy. That was Dick Vermeil with Warner. Got it.
Not exactly the rubber game that we anticipated today. We wanted to win this one, win the series, have some momentum going into Pittsburgh. But the Cardinals did acquire Lackey because of his big game reputation. It's a little bit of his attitude when he's on the mound, and Mike Matheny will trust the veteran to get that series off to a good start.
1-2 to count on Oscar Taveras. Taveras came up with runners at first and second back in the 4th and singled. And then first and second in the 6th and lined into a double play and a hard hit ball. I've had folks tweeted me about the Russo event. There's only going to be about 250 people there, so very intimate setting. It's not a big crowd. It's intimate. I think you'll love it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's ripped into right field. He jumped on that pitch. Oscar digging for second base. And Taveras a 2-hit day.
3 hard hit balls. And good to see that as he's starting to come into his own a little bit.
So Taveras his 7th double this year. Be so big for the Cardinals to see one of these bats just go on a tear. Jay has done that. But then you're thinking more about the power potential of a Taveras or a Holiday, what that can mean in the final 5 weeks.
I'd like to see 3 or 4 of them consistently be on fire or rotating. Maybe one guy will get cool off a little bit. Somebody else will pick up the slack.
1 out. Taveras at second base. Cruz is hitless in 3 plate appearances. Chops it up the middle. Rollins 2 down. Tavares to third. Budweiser player of the game, the starter for the Phils, Jerome Williams. 8 innings, 5 hits. Gave up 1 run, walked 3, 5 strikeouts. 110 pitches, the Budweiser player of the game.
Shane Robinson, pinch hit here. Cardinals' last hope. 30 pinch hit appearances. He's 3 for 25. With other times walks. Scenario, Dan, where I think the Cardinals need to, with expanded rosters, work on their bench.
And a high fly ball into right. This should do it. Phillies take 2 of 3. The final of 7-1. And it's off to Pittsburgh for the Cardinals.
Disappointing afternoon. Masterson wasn't very good. We'll see him 5 days from now. But the Cardinals' offense was pretty solid too. Just 6 hits and 1 run. Only 2 extra base hits in the game.
More to come. Post-game show next.